Hello, Kathryn. Would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers who are watching?
Yeah, my name is Kathryn Morgan. I live in Merthyr Tydfil. I'm an ex-international of 51 caps. And I was under-17s manager for the girls team, but obviously now Jane has gone, that unfortunately is no longer the case.
Over the past week, how has the departure of Jane Ludlow affected you and also the squad as well?
Yeah, I think obviously it was a massive shock. I've known Jane, for a long, long time, over 25 years, and I just felt quite saddened. Really, I was in my garage. I've converted my garage into a gym, so I was just on the bike, and then someone sent me a message, and I just clicked on the link. And I think for me, first of all, it was a little bit of sadness as to how that decision has been made. There's no smoke without fire, and obviously something has instigated that decision. And I just immediately felt that the work that Jane has done over the last 6 years, it's big shoes to fill now for somebody who possibly are just going to get the same resources. They're not going to get any more. And I fear for the women's game with the development.
Brilliant. Do you see anyone in mind who you think could improve on what Jane has been able to achieve over the last 6 years? Obviously, that's, as you said, the resources are not going to change, so it's still as difficult as ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one for me because I don't quite understand, maybe what the thinking is of the Welsh FA. Do they know somebody who is better than Jane to come and do the job, or do they know somebody? We don't know. It's all speculation, obviously, but I think that it's a tough job, Jack, to win 3 international teams. She was in charge of the 17s, the 19s, and the seniors. Whereas, you look at France, Germany, Norway, that national team manager is only in charge of 1 team. So therefore, you're splitting your job between 3 different squads. You're going away to Europe for, 10, 15 days at a time. It's a huge ask. And I think that whoever, throws their name in the hat, I think they have to be mindful that that won't change. And they're not just taking on 1 job. They're ultimately taking on 3 full-time posts.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on whoever the head coach is coming in. And obviously, in a few months' time, the World Cup qualifiers taking place. So do you think they're going to crack under the pressure? Because it is asking a lot for whoever's about to come in.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the players are desperately disappointed and saddened. They feel as if, those 2 games against Northern Ireland in the last, qualifying campaign, 2 draws. There's no loss. Obviously we lost 1-0 twice to Norway, but, we've only drawn against Northern Ireland, and it looks as if that's cost Jane Ludlow her job. Now, from somebody who's been in the system since 1995, I can put my hand on my heart and say that people need to realise how small a pool of player we have in Wales to play international football. It was the same when I played, and it's the same now. If you have 20 players maximum who are honestly able to, walk out on that field and understand, the tactics, be able to produce the technical elements, understand the game plan. We haven't got, England's, who've got probably, 500 girls. We're a very, very small nation. And because there's no structure in place with the Welsh FA, no proper structure, from 10 years old, where we get the girls at 10 years old and we develop into senior players by the time they're 19, that's what we need. Because we haven't got that, whoever comes in has got to basically start again. And I just think that sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side, and people need to realise when we, I was under 17s manager. I get these girls for 1 year's preparation, so they come to me when they're 15, and I've only got them for 1 year. That ultimately could mean 3 camps. That's 15 days. How can I turn them players into competing against France, Germany, Iceland, Belgium? It is nigh impossible. So I think that, whoever comes in must realise how big the job is. The girls will be fine. The girls are ultimate professionals. They want to play for their country, but they will be, I believe they will be frustrated that this momentum has been broken up.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a tough job. And I don't know how Jayne Ludlow kept going for the 6 years and everyone who was taking part as well. But a final question, I'm going to move over to the men's national side. Obviously, the Euros is coming up now in a few months. How far do you think we're going to get this year?
Well, you know, to be honest, Jack, I just literally asked for a refund on my tickets. So I'm absolutely devastated because I was obviously going to the Rome game with my 9-year-old nephew and my sister. So, you know, I think because UEFA's announcement as regards are they not quite sure where the venue is going to be and if the hosts change their minds, we had to make a decision by January the 26th and I couldn't afford to just lose that money. You know, I might go as a pundit. It's a long shot really, but you never know. I live in hope. But I just think that, you know, we've had a good Nations League campaign. You know, I've been fortunate enough to commentate on Radio Cymru for all them games, and there were times possibly in October that I thought we won't win this group. You know, we won't. You know, but fair play, the boys have pulled it out of the bag, and you know, in the end, we found a way to win. And I think if teams, you know, if you don't play very well, but you find a way to win, that is a sign of a good team. I think that hopefully, I think we get out of the group stages. And then for me, possibly, just depends on injuries and strength in depth and form. You know, I mean, the COVID-19 obviously has been a bit of a nightmare. You know, we need players to play consistently. I look at the likes of Vokes and boys who are playing for Cardiff every week. You know, I've been lucky enough to watch him a couple of times. I'm not quite sure he's there. He's not Joe Allen, we know that, but I'm not sure we got that strength and depth in the midfield. So for me, I think anything beyond the quarters would be successful.
I would take that as well. I'd be happy anything beyond the quarters. But yeah, hopefully we get a tournament like 2016 with all the thrills. But without the fans there, obviously it's going to be a bit of a downfall for everyone missing out. But that is brilliant. Thank you, Kath. Thanks for answering my questions today.
You're very welcome, Jack. Very welcome.